you dirty boy. What's up, everybody? We're live in the afternoon. Cheers. Dunkin' Dog Nuts. Drink it in, man. We got Smackdown ratings tonight. Tonight is Out of Nowhere, live right here on YouTube with me and Jake. Last week was crazy. This week, probably do about the same. Probably do about an hour and a half tonight like we did last week. Tonight on Out of Nowhere. Of course, then we went 6 hours after that last week. Or I went 6 hours because of the craziness. But tonight we'll do about an hour and a half. We got Smackdown news. Like I said, Smackdown ratings are in. The Tony Khan stuff is coming out a little bit. We got some of that. A little bit more news there. There's a little bit of wrestling news, but I'm going to save most of it for tonight for Out of Nowhere. I'm only going to talk about maybe one or two things. Plus, we'll get Jake's opinion on everything that we haven't heard it from him yet, so I can react to that as well tonight when I hear from what Jake has to say, because I haven't heard what Jake has to say yet. Then we got the Trump trial going on. We could literally have a verdict at any moment. I'm not live because of that, but it could happen while we're live. It might not happen. It might happen tonight. Might be something we talk about as well tonight. It's a pretty crazy situation with the Trump stuff. I mean, I'm telling you, man, like, regardless of what you think of Trump, this is crazy. Some of the rules that have been laid out by the judge, who's clearly corrupted. The whole thing is corrupted, to be honest, somewhat. There's a little bit of legitimacy to it in a way, but it's just something you don't ever see put on this type of stage. So it's obviously done, to hold him up from being president or whatever. Just embarrass the guy. He's not going to, you know what I mean? Like, it's just very strange. This is some strange stuff that even my liberal friends, I mean, I'm liberal. I've always been a fairly liberal person, but even my, like, more, even people I'm friends with who voted for Biden are like, whoa, because Bill Clinton should be in jail if that's the case. I've seen some people going out there like, oh, put him in jail or something like that. I'm like, so Clinton's going to jail too? Because he did this like a million times. But then, like, the difference is falsifying the business records, right? So we could talk about how that is. But Smackdown ratings, we'll get to those in a second. We'll let everybody get in here. Click that like button. By the way, some hot chick went into the court earlier, and the cop was like, oh, here you go. And she's like, thank you so much. And looked at him and everything, and he was like, oh, my God. You could tell he was like, damn, like, look at her. And then after she went in the courtroom, the other cop came over, and then they were talking, and he was like, did you see that or whatever? And he's like, yeah. And they were like, oh, it was just really funny, man. It was funny. So the cops are clearly like, damn, look at her. And they're on camera because it's like a live stream that's continuously broadcasting. So it was pretty funny. It's pretty funny. The prosecution's star witness admits to stealing $60,000 from the defendant. Your case is over. Reasonable doubt times 10. There's so much reasonable doubt. I'm no lawyer, but let's explain some of this. And I know a lot of people are interested. I know we don't always like to do politics here, but so many people are interested in this, and it is kind of fascinating. And with it's weird that a lot of my friends are doing the Karen Reed case, but they're not following this. Let's see here. Okay, let's see. There's the dono link. Anybody wants to donate, there's a link, or a super chat, whatever. We're live. Okay, so here's the deal. What crime is Trump guilty of? That's one of the biggest questions I have. What's the crime? So Trump is charged with 34 counts of falsifying business records to hide $130,000 in hush money payments made to Stormy Daniels, who alleged that she had an affair with him. He denied the affair. The affair wasn't even proven. The records that Trump is accused over involve his former lawyer, Michael Cohen, who pleaded guilty to crimes related to making the payments. So let's theorize this, right? I don't know about all of Michael Cohen's stuff. Let's say Michael Cohen was coerced into pleading guilty. Like, hey, listen, you plead guilty, nothing's going to happen to you, and we'll just go after Donald. Well, he's going to say he's going to plead guilty then, whether he did or didn't or did whatever. But if he doesn't plead guilty, maybe he's in trouble. I don't know. But so you've got Michael Cohen who pleaded guilty, right? So that means that right there, that feels like proof that payments were made by the lawyer, right? Because he sort of said he was guilty or whatever. What up, Andy? How you doing, man? So the fact that Cohen admitted to it, making the payments, whatever reason, whatever the case is, it's like, well, that makes it look like, those payments happened. Is it a crime to make payments to somebody to quiet them, or to be like, hey, man, here's some money, go away? Just stop. Let's not talk about that. Go away. It's not really a crime unless depending on where the money came from and what funds were used, right? So that's the problem, I believe, right? So the charges would normally be misdemeanors, but the Manhattan District Attorney said that falsification was done to hide another crime. So while these charges would normally be misdemeanors, the Manhattan District Attorney said that falsification was done to hide another crime. That's an opinion. You got to prove that now. That makes it a felony. While prosecutors haven't charged him with another crime, they've focused on the idea that the records were falsified to hide information from voters in 2016. Trump pled not guilty. So there is no second crime, right? Like they're not charging him with a second crime. There is no second crime being charged. There's like an assumption of, well, but he was trying to hide it from the voters. Okay, that's fine. That's not the second crime. So again, I'm going to read it. While these charges would normally be misdemeanors, the Manhattan District Attorney said that the falsification was done to hide another crime. That makes it a felony. But the prosecutors haven't charged him with another crime. So that's like saying, hey, John left his house with a handgun. And, he was running around the street with the gun, looking around, and then ran back into his house. And it turns out, like, the guy has, like, a legal right to carry a weapon, right? But they're like, but we want to charge him because he actually was going to murder somebody. It's like, well, now you have to prove that he was going to murder somebody. So you're saying he was going to murder someone, but he didn't murder someone. So there's no second crime there. There's just the one issue or crime of him recklessly running around with the gun or whatever. Or maybe he has no legal, maybe he doesn't own a firearm license or something. I don't know, whatever. But you know what I'm saying? Like, you're just assuming now that there was something else done. So if they said there was a second crime, then this would be like I don't understand. Like, if you used the money from your campaign funds and that's illegal, that's a second crime. But I'm gonna read the law again. While these charges would normally be misdemeanors, The Manhattan District Attorney said that the falsification was done to hide another crime. So now the falsification of the records was done to hide another crime, but the falsification of the records in itself is a crime, right? If he's falsifying campaign funds, that in itself, if proven, is an issue. But that's not hiding another crime. That's part of this claim. So that's not hiding the other crime. So we still don't know what hiding the other crime is, right? So again, did Trump pay? Probably, because you still have to prove it. Did like Trump's lawyer paid Stormy Daniels money? Trump paid his lawyer incrementally that money, allegedly, right? And he put it under legal fees. Well, what else would you put it under? If you don't put it under legal fees, what would you put it under? He's paying it to his lawyer. His lawyer on his behalf is making payments. And Michael Cohen is admitted to this, guilty of it. Okay? But now, does that prove that Donald Trump made those payments to him? I don't know. How many other payments does Donald Trump usually make to him? What are these payments equal? What did they pay Stormy Daniels? You know, what is all this? Is it a crime? If it is, then okay, it's a misdemeanor. But to be a felony, it needs to be you're doing this to hide another crime. Well, what's the other crime that he's guilty of? Why would you pay hush money to a woman about a situation? You know? You know? So therefore, it's like, what's really going on here? You know, and I think that the problem is there's a lot of people on the left and the right of this, like, who are, it's like some people think that this is all bullshit and nothing, you know, Trump is completely innocent of anything. And then there's other people that think he's guilty and should go to jail forever and all these things. And I just think both of those are crazy. But like one thing is true. Like some like fudgy stuff was done by Trump and his lawyer. The judge and the judge working this case is corrupt, and this case is corrupt, and this is a sham situation. And that's sort of what it is. It's sort of like everything is kind of true somewhat, but in the end, we know that it's not normally how things are done, right? This isn't really normally how things are done. Normally, the jury isn't instructed certain things that the judge has instructed the jury of. Normally, the jury isn't instructed that they don't all have to agree on what the crime is. What does that mean? Normally, the jury isn't so prodded by the judge. It's very strange. Normally, a judge like this doesn't work on several cases involving the Trump situations because there's like 10,000 lawyers in New York that could possibly work on this. And somehow this judge has fallen into like 4 of these situations in the Trump situations. So like that's just not mathematically possible. It's not mathematically possible for this judge to once again be working on this, and when his daughter is involved with the Bidens in a big way. So, like, all of this stuff, bro, all of this stuff is crazy. You know what I mean? So, so we don't have a crime. We don't have the second crime, which, you know, makes it a felony. It's not there right now. We don't know what it is. It's not there. It's a sham. And most Democrats know this, that this is fake. This isn't real. I think most Democrats know that he did something, but it's not worth a felony and not worth this situation. I think most Republicans know this too, that this is bullshit for the most part. It's not that he didn't do anything, right? It's not that he didn't falsify something and do something out of the ordinary, right? Like something's up and it should be looked at. But like it's the way they're doing it, right? Like you could look at Joe Biden, right? You could look at Trump and Biden for the way, like forget about all the presidents. Almost all the presidents have taken classified documents and handled them in ways that could get them in trouble probably, right? Probably all the presidents. We know that Trump has, handled documents irresponsibly. We know that Joe Biden has handled documents irresponsibly. But the point is, when it comes down to it, once the investigation is over with Biden handling documents and Trump handling documents, most likely they would be, exonerated, that they did potentially handle the documents incorrectly, but it wasn't done nefariously, right? It wasn't done to hurt the country, or there's no proof of like espionage or anything else going on. So most likely it would just be kind of like forgotten about, or they would be maybe penalized in some fine or something or whatever. But all these other presidents could be guilty of it too. I mean, Vince McMahon, people said, well, what about Vince McMahon? And it's different because Vince McMahon didn't use campaign funds, you know what I mean? But did he use company funds? Trump and Vince McMahon, like the situations are so similar in many ways. And this is something that business people do all the time. And like Jake just said, and like I said when I started this stream, Trump wins either way. Even if you don't like Trump, you're starting to like Trump. Like, that's what's crazy. This is making people like Trump. Like that wouldn't like Trump. It's fucking crazy. People are liking Trump now that didn't like him before. Look at me. I don't really love Trump. I think he's really funny and entertaining, and I enjoy that. And I think some of the things he's done is dangerous, and I think he's a skeevy businessman sometimes. But he's also a winner. And he's also a guy who's smarter than, I think is better than Joe Biden for us. But so all those things. But you're making me like the guy more. Because he's up against people that want to cut kids and drink their blood. And that's not even a joke. And they'll open the border and destroy the country. And all our money is crazy right now. Dude, people are going to vote for Trump. Trump is going to win. He's going to become president. Unless something weird goes on. It's just going to happen. I knew he was going to win in 2016. And I wasn't sure in 20 because of the way some of the stuff at the end, because of COVID and because of just that type of shit. And I didn't like his debate either, by the way. I knew Trump was going to win in 2016 because they screwed Bernie Sanders. Literally, they conspiracied against Bernie Sanders. Even though he won, they said he lost. And then they nominated Hillary. So right there is when I turned and I said, oh my God, bro, what the fuck? I'm out of here. And I knew Trump was going to win because I knew people like me were going to switch. Because Bernie got screwed and they admitted to it 6 months later. But we knew it right away. But they finally admitted to it 6 months later when they wrote about it in their books, So I knew Trump was going to win, and I said it, and it's on record, it's on video, it's on my channel. In 2020, I thought Trump might lose because COVID was confusing everybody and freaking everybody out. Trump had a couple of weird decisions that I didn't like at the end socially with the police and stuff. And I didn't like Trump's debates with Biden. Biden was terrible and a corpse, but Trump just spoke over him and screamed over him and never really gave Biden a chance to talk a lot, and it looked bad. And on top of it, Biden was you just like should have let him talk more, because the more he talks, the more he buries himself. And I think some weird shit went down too, but I don't exactly understand what happened or whatever. But I was never on board with like, oh, it was stolen, or anything like that. But I did think maybe. We'll see. Just like Al Gore in 2001, I thought that was weird with George Bush, but I couldn't exactly figure out how to prove that. So I was like, well, this seems weird, but okay, Bush is the president. It's weird. Very strange. There's no way Trump loses. There's no way. I thought Bush couldn't win in 08 either, or 04. I thought Bush was going to lose. I was like, there's no way this country votes for this liar. Patriot Act and all this terrible stuff, George Bush. I'm like, there's no way that we're going to vote for George Bush after what happened. In fact, I don't think I don't think that I don't think that fuck, I lost my train of thought, but I don't know, man. I don't know much. Let's see. If you go back at Trump's debate in 2020, his points actually are becoming true. No, you're right. I mean, he makes great points. He really did. I just didn't like that he bulldozed over Biden. I thought, the Biden can barely speak as it is. Trump actually like when you look at it now, it is amazing. I've seen the clips, but I just remember him, him bulldozing over him a bit, and I didn't think that was cool. But, I'm probably going to be on the kill list now because I became an independent. So that, you know what I mean? Like, now they're going to kill me. Like, I'm going to be killed because now I'm an independent. I'm a registered independent. Yeah, if they lock up Trump, then he's going to win in a landslide. And if they don't lock him up, then he's going to win no matter what. I mean, he's just going to win no matter what. The only people that this is going to look good to are the people that hate Trump no matter what. And you may be one of the people that sort of doesn't like him that much, out there. But this will just embolden the base of Trump. This will turn independents, I think, on his side, many of them. So yeah, it's just crazy to me. I don't know. I hate the year 2020. Yeah, well, I think we'll always all hate the year 2020 for so many reasons. We will hate it. I think that so I know what I was saying. So in 2004, I was like, there's no way that Bush is winning. I'm like, there's no way George Bush Jr. is winning again. And then he won. And I thought, man, this country is stupid. That was when I thought that. I thought, wow, this fucking country is stupid. But then again, wasn't he up against John Kerry that year? So I was like, so maybe the country was just like, damn it, I guess we'll keep Bush. He seems strong, I don't know. But at the time, I was like, man, this country's dumb. We just elected a guy who gave the country away. So I think the country will once again prove it's stupid if Biden wins again. Although, I mean, what terrible choices. What just trash we are as a country. This is what we have, bro. This is how dumb the country is. This is what we have. This is literally what we have to elect as president of all criminal people. Yeah, John Kerry was not great. He lied about all kinds of shit. The guy's a nutcase, liar, scumbag. So I guess, But see, I see it like this. Bush signed off on the Patriot Act, took us to an illegal war. So, it's like John Kerry to me at the time. At the time, I felt like John Kerry, I'm like, please make this guy president, because I don't want the guy who lied about Iraq, the weapons of mass destruction, the September 11th, the just everything. George Bush lied, and then the Patriot Act and the things that Bush wanted to do and that he got approved and did. I mean, John Kerry is also part of that same system, though. So nowadays, I know that. I didn't know that back then. So no matter who you chose, Kerry or Bush, it was bullshit, because both guys are part of the same deep state. So it doesn't matter which guy you chose. But back then, I didn't know that. And back then, I figured, okay, John Kerry kind of lies about his military record. John Kerry doesn't seem to have a great idea of what to do with many things. John Kerry, whatever, but he seems like he's nicer, and he didn't do those things that I know Bush did. So I want to elect John Kerry. That was what I felt back then. That's the way I feel right now about Joe Biden and Trump. Okay, Trump is kind of an egomaniac business douche, and, he's done some stupid things, but Joe Biden is getting us into several wars, which is what I thought he would do. And I thought Trump would keep us out of wars. Guess what? Trump kept us out of wars. Joe Biden brings us into wars. Joe Biden funds other countries' wars, bringing us into those wars. Joe Biden opens up the border and destroys the country on purpose, seemingly. Joe Biden lies about inflation and what's going on in the world. Joe Biden lies about everything. He can't even speak. The list goes on and on and on with what Joe Biden has done to hurt us. And Trump didn't like the way he acted on the 6th, didn't like the rally idea that he had, didn't like a couple other social instances that Trump had, didn't like that he blindly followed the vaccine stuff, didn't like that he platformed Fauci. But that's more hindsight, that one, so I don't blame him. Trump was trying to do the right thing by acquiescing to the experts. He didn't yet know, I don't think, what kind of a sick person Fauci is. So, dude, there's again, which one's worse? Which one do I think is worse? World War? You know what I mean? The country on fire? All the riots that happened everywhere and the buildings taken over, the economy dead, we're all running out of money, food prices, everything. So what's better, all of that or the Trump January 6th, the mean tweets, and sort of not really taking a lot of accountability when you do make a mistake? It's like, which one's worse? I'll weigh them all, Stormy Daniels and whatever, I'll weigh them all. And when I weigh them all, World War III is worse, and all those other things are worse. And it's not even like if you listed the things, on paper, funding wars around the world, we're in wars now, is worse than so many other things other things. So right there, you're out. That's the problem. It doesn't mean that both guys aren't bad and both guys didn't do bad things. They did. They have. I don't like either one. No one's perfect, but they're far beyond perfect, in my opinion. It's crazy. Trump was the most peaceful president we've had in 50 years. I don't even know. What's the number? Does anybody know the number? I never thought I would defend a Republican. I never thought ever I would defend a Republican. But Trump isn't really a Republican either. That's the problem. But but I never thought I would defend one. What has he done? It's crazy. Fucking crazy, bro. I wish I could run. Guys, you can make me president tomorrow. Let's do it. I'll get a suit. Me and Jake will run. We'll get me and Jake. We'll get a big cabinet. Kerry's running point should have been that he did 9/11 and he would have won. Problem is Kerry probably helped do 9/11, so but yeah. Kerry should have gone up there. Do you know why he didn't, Jake? Because they're on the same team. Kerry could have gone up on stage and said, "Hey, how's Halliburton doing? Dick Cheney? How much money are you making from the war we're in right now, scumbag?" And if he said that on stage, oh my God. And then if he said, "Oh, how about that debriefing you got? And how about the September 11th, all that other stuff? Oh, yeah. How about, hey, Bush, hey, how are the Saudis doing? Hey, why are you friends with Osama bin Laden's family? That's crazy. So you're friends with Osama bin Laden's family, and you guys created ISIS, and also Dick Cheney, your company makes all the weapons we're using now. What's your bank account look like? And by the way, how's your Saudi friends, Bush? Hey, did you fly them out of the country the second September 11th happened to protect them during that period of time? You fly them out of the country and not question them and hold them for questioning like you held a bunch of other people in Guantanamo Bay? Oh, did you pass something called the Patriot Act? Sounds pretty patriotic, everybody, doesn't it? I mean, what's more patriotic than you can round up any American citizen at any time for any minuscule reason in the name of terrorism? Sounds real patriotic. I bet the forefathers would have loved that one. By the way, George Bush Jr., what did your father do when he was president? Did he try to take over Iraq and kill Saddam Hussein and with Colin Powell and everybody? And then after that, people didn't like that too much, did they, George? People didn't really like that. So they elected Bill Clinton for 8 years. And now when you come into office, suddenly the world is prosperous, but suddenly the Twin Towers are attacked simultaneously by planes, and miraculously they fall down in a way that, I don't know, kind of looks like a demolition. Now, if I go to engineering school and I simulate these events, towers don't fall that way. The towers don't fall down because the same amount of mass are above them that were above them before. The top might topple over and fall off, but the bottom doesn't just crumble down like that. That just doesn't happen. Unless the building is burning from the bottom of the building. Then maybe, right? So let's talk about having George Bush Jr. as president again so all you people can be put in danger. The first thing I'm going to do is investigate 9/11 and find out what the fuck really happened. And if you think that's a conspiracy, then you're a sheep like everybody else. And I would have cut the promo upon promos, and I would have become president. Why didn't John Kerry do that? Because he voted for that stuff. He's with them. So John Kerry and George Bush are on the same team. Unless somebody can prove to me that John Kerry voted against the Patriot Act, then I will back down from that comment. But I believe he voted for it. Am I wrong? Who voted for the Patriot Act? If I'm wrong, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Kerry's just stupid. But now Kerry's on the same team, so I don't know. Who voted? Did John Kerry vote? Could he even vote for the Patriot Act? I don't even know. I don't know. What? Trying to find out. Here you go. You guys want to find out right now? I just said a bunch of shit, right? You guys heard me. Let's take a look. Who voted yes for the Patriot Act in 2004? The very act that takes all your rights away. The government can spy on you, round you up, and torture you. Why is that? Patriot Act. Imagine that. Imagine if they put out a bill that they could rape children. They would call it the Child Safety Act. Oh, you didn't vote for the Child Safety Act? Doesn't that mean rape children? No, it's the Child Safety Act. Oh, the Patriot Act? Doesn't that mean that we lose all our rights? No, it's the Patriot Act. Oh, here it is. The Patriot Act. Look who voted for it. Joe Biden voted for the Patriot Act. The Patriot Act by George Bush, the Republican George Bush, but the Democrat Joe Biden voted yeah for it. Because they're on the same fucking team. Did Massachusetts John Kerry vote for the Patriot Act, courtesy of George Bush, the Republican? Yep. John Kerry voted yeah on the Patriot Act. Because they're all on the same team. Unbelievable. Somebody look up Feingold because he voted nay on it. Wisconsin. So whoever Feingold is, don't know who that is if he's still serving anything, but Feingold, sounds like a small hat, but Feingold voted nay. So either Feingold was terrified of Wisconsin voters or Feingold isn't part of the club. Whatever happened to Feingold, look that up. I'm worried about him. So there you go. They all voted for it. Ron Paul didn't vote. A couple other people didn't vote too. There's a couple people on there that didn't vote. So anyway, I don't know, weird. I didn't expect to get all talk a lot of political stuff today and go off on a rant, but you know. I mean, shit's crazy. I'm concerned about the jurors on the Trump thing too, by the way. That's a little scary for them. Anyway, I was hoping it could happen. It's a pretty crazy day. I want to remind everybody that tonight we'll be live tonight. We'll be live tonight right here out of nowhere. So Jake will be here. I'll be here. We'll be doing wrestling talk. We might touch a little bit on the politics if something happens, or it might go up on the Patreon. I don't know yet. But mostly we'll be talking wrestling, I believe. So join us tonight for the wrestling. There's the Smackdown ratings are in. Let me go over to the Smackdown ratings. That's the only thing I'm going to mention tonight, or today until tonight. Once again, WrestleNomics reports SmackDown drew 2.1 million viewers. Both numbers were down from previous week. So it's a 2% fall. But SmackDown's still above 2 million. Good for them. Probably when SmackDown goes to USA Network, SmackDown will probably fall to like 1.8 million potentially. I'm betting that it could be, maybe it will stay at 2 million. Maybe it'll go down to lower. I don't know. But I think it go to 1.8. We'll see, though. 1.8 million when it goes to USA. That's my guess. And then Raw, I would think Raw would have an expanded viewership. I got to believe that the Raw viewership goes up. Because, I mean, like, people on Netflix are scrolling around and it's on the main screen of WWE Live Tonight Raw. Like, I would just think that some new fans would be made. Some old fans would tune in for the, first time. And I would think that Netflix will draw 3 to 5 million viewers for Raw. The first, couple Raws, which, dude, that could be so big for WWE if that happens. That will be so big if that happens for WWE. Tell us about Larry Silverstein, Joe. I don't know who that is. You tell me about him. I don't know who that is. Is that like Shel Silverstein, the guy who wrote the Where the Sidewalk Ends or whatever? That's a stretch. Yeah, King Hueco. I am stretching. I'm being optimistic and hopeful because Netflix has so many more eyes on it. Think about it. Think about the amount of people that turn on USA Network for Raw or for just in general, right? The amount of people that turn on USA Network, in it throughout the whole day, what is that number? 5 to 10 million people? But what's the number of people that turn on Netflix throughout the entire day? It's got to be like 50 to 100 million people, if not higher than that. It is. So if you've got 3 to 5 million people throughout the day tuning into USA Network, potentially, that could be a wrong number, but let's guess. What's the number of people that turn on the main screen of Netflix every day? Hundreds of millions. So it's not crazy to me that, people aren't going to see the advertisement of today on Netflix live. Netflix wants to push live content. They want live comedy, live shows. They love the event live stuff. And not a lot of people are doing it on Netflix. So when there's a comedy event, it's pushed to the forefront. So you don't think every Monday night, that's going to be at the forefront every Monday night. Live now, WWE Raw. It's going to be there. The potential for people to browse and catch WWE on USA Network is 3 to 5 million. The potential window shop of WWE Raw on Netflix is hundreds of millions. That's the number. So, there you go. Hey, join us tonight for Out of Nowhere live right here on the channel. I will be live with Jake. We'll be here. Join us around 9:30 p.m. or so right here. Can't wait to wax your carrots, and I will see you then. Hope you click the like button. We'll see what happens with, we'll see what happens with the Trump trial. It's all just a bunch of hocus shit anyway, but either way, we'll see. Is there any other news that I can find? Let's see. There's no other news real quick. I mean, there's more. We're going to talk a lot about Becky Lynch tonight, I'm sure. We'll talk a little bit about NXT. Ethan Page is here. We talked about him all week, and then he showed up. So there you go. We knew that. We sort of saw that coming. I gave you my opinions on him. They're like really good and bad about Ethan Page. We'll talk both about that. We talked a little bit about Sexy Red last night, but we'll talk more about Sexy Red with Jake on Nowhere tonight. And Robert De Niro just had a baby. He's like 85 or whatever. He's a weirdo. Let's see. Yeah, I don't see any other new news that I can see. Leonardo DiCaprio is dating a 19-year-old. That's hot. Anybody seen that? Look at this. I mean, Leo's in better shape than me here. If I took my shirt off, I look worse than that. So, I mean, I've got to lose some weight, no doubt about it. But, you know, Leo's a bit young at heart. He's starting to turn, though, and starting to look older now. Finally. We all remember him as a child on that sitcom. But then he's dating the 19-year-old. So, you know, that's a little strange to me, but legal. But I don't know, maybe get on his private jet and save the environment, you know. Leo can save the environment with his private jet and his 19-year-old. It's great. It's great. That's about it, though. I thought maybe there would be some more news. But I don't see any other interesting news that I really want to get to. So we'll see you tonight for Out of Nowhere with Jake DeMarco and me live. Catch you then. Everybody, thanks for being here. Hit that like button. Has a father body? Well, I mean, it's like 50. Leonardo DiCaprio, isn't he 50? Right? He's 49, so he's like 50. Leonardo DiCaprio's 49, I'm 39, so I got 10 years on Leo. Love it. Fuck, man. I'm like the Wolf of Wall Street Leo age. MJF returns to Dynamite. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. Write it down, Jake. I'll forget some of these things. If you want, write it down. I'll try to write it down, too. We got to remember a lot tonight on Out of Nowhere. It'll be right here on YouTube for everybody. Bonus stuff coming to Patreon, though, if you're a patron or a member on YouTube. You get bonus. See you tonight. Well, nobody can say that Jack and I didn't try to warn you guys 10 years ago about the border.